So this morning we already start talking a little bit about the day-to-day and what is the intention of the day. And now we're going to have a little class on the ether body, into the energetic body. It's a subtle body anatomy class based on the yoga philosophy, the yoga tradition. You might be familiar with a lot of this already, so you can just listen again. We always learn something different when we listen to it again. So let's start by understanding that I think you're a very open-minded person, that you understand, believe energy, right?
Yes.
But not everybody does. The other day I saw a very interesting, a funny meme on Instagram. There was the picture of this elder sitting on the couch, and he was like, I only believe in what I see. And then there was things written like the TV wave and the Wi-Fi and all those invisible things, right, that we don't really see, but we know is there. It's what allows us to watch the movie or to play with the computer. So I guess it's not anything like a woo-woo, but it's a given to understand that this body only function because there's a form of energy in it. If we didn't have energy in this body, it would be just corpse lying on the floor. A computer only works when there's electricity in it or plugged into the wall. If there's no electricity, it's just plastics and crystals and glass. So in the same way, this body can only dance and talk and move because there's a form of energy. In the yogic tradition, we believe that this energy is called prana. Prana is the substratum that sustains all forms of life. Prana is the vital life force that sustains all forms of life. Where does prana come from? Some people believe it comes from the sun, because without sun, any form of energy would be possible to exist. There was a psychiatrist and a scientist called Wim Reich. He was Swiss, I think, and he believed that this energy is everywhere. He called it this energy orgone energy. And this energy has a blissful quality to it. And it's floating in the ethers. In a yogic tradition, the yogis also believe that this primal vital life force they call prana is visible to the naked eye. The prana that is present in the air or the ethers is visible to the naked eye. When you look at the blue sky and you see thousands of little dots shining and moving, I don't know if you have ever experienced that.
Yeah.
So that's prana. We can see in naked eye in a blue sky, all these chaotic little dots moving.
Everywhere.
That's prana. So prana now is this energy that is everywhere, that sustains all forms of life. We humans, we absorb this prana, this vital life force, in three main ways. Through drinking, through eating, and through breathing, right? Those are the three main forms of absorption of prana, vital life force. The prana of the air is called Vayu prana. The prana that we eat in the foods is called Anna prana. And the prana that we drink, that is in the water, is called Apas prana. So those three main ways of absorbing prana: Anapana, Apaspana prana, and Vayu prana. Vayu means wind or air. So we're going to focus a little bit on the Vayu prana, this air wind, this wind prana. When we breathe and we absorb the prana, not just when we breathe, actually, when we eat, when we drink, this prana subdivides into 5 different functions, which is called prana, again, so to make it a little more complicated. So there's prana and there's apana. So the prana, the form of prana that's called prana, is responsible for this, the function of prana in this area of the body, from your ribs to your neck. This is the intake of the breath. When we inhale, when we absorb energy, that is prana. When this energy moves in the chest area and the heartbeat, the function of the heartbeat. When we exhale, or the energy that makes expelling energy from the body through sweat, menstruation, semen, tears, that is the downward movement of energy, and that's called apana vayu. So there's prana vayu and there's apana vayu. Okay? And then there's another form of prana, or another form of vayu, would say, of wind, of energy, that is responsible for the circulation of all the other vayus, of all the other pranas in the body. And that's called vyana vayu, or vyana prana. So now we already talked about three. Vayu prana, or prana, apana, vyana. And then we have a form of energy that is responsible for the transmutation of energy, like ignition, like the gasoline, the fuel that makes this body move forward and have the energy to do things. That's connected to this area of the body, the digestive system, lower and upper belly. That is called samana vayu. So samana vayu is the form of energy responsible for digestion and transformation of this fuel, gas, energy into movement, into willpower, into doing things. So that's why the digestive system is also so important for the maintenance of this overall health of the pranic body. So we have prana, apana, samana, vyana, and the last form, the fifth form of vayu, of prana, is udana. Udana is from the bottom of your neck to the top of your head. So what udana is responsible for? The movement when you speak, your jaw, and then there is minor little vayus, or minor little pranas that has other names, but we can all kind of put them into the same category of udana vayu, which means blinking, sneezing, coughing, smiling. So just think that every function of the body, we need energy to operate. Everything that we do in life, we obtain energy or we deplete ourselves from energy. So we need to learn how we can maintain the optimal maintenance of this energy, right? Otherwise we just like use it and don't recharge. Depletion, tending to depletion, which cause imbalance, which cause disease. The Chinese, they have, in their Chinese medicine, they have similar concepts. They don't call this energy prana, but they call it qi, or ki. It's the same principle that we have this vital life force. And they use acupuncture, for instance, with needles in the specific areas of the body to unblock the flow of energy. That is just one way to unblock the flow of energy. There's many different ways. In the yoga tradition, we do postures, right? We do asanas, we do breathing exercises, we do right nutrition, and etc., meditation to maintain and contain this flow of prana. Now, the yogis also believe that when we're born, there is this chispa, this flame of life that comes to us, that is given to us. We talk a little bit about that in the morning. It's given to us from the top down. It descends, the spirit of energy. You know, energy and spirit or breath, they have the same etymology. They all come from the same word, right? The breath, the spirit, or energy. So this energy or breath or spirit descend, and now it's stored in the base of the spine. That is our most vital life force. It's almost like when we're born, We're giving this life force from the universe, sun, divine, God, goddess. And then it gets stored in the base of the spine for us to use to create then another creature. So we are God too. We receive that bless from God and we play God to continue life. So that is another way to use this energy that is stored in the base of the spine. This is called Kundalini. And Kundalini means coiled. So it's coiled at the base of the spine. That is the réservoir in French, no? The, how you call it in English? Reservoir. Reservoir, like where we stored that energy. That's the vital life force that is stored. It's like an extra life force, I would say, that we're born with and is stored in the base of the spine. We don't always use this energy. What we use through sexual activities to give life, to make babies. But we can also, in the yoga tradition, learn how to revert this flow of energy. So instead of having apana activated, so let's say you love making. Making love is a very good way to describe how this energy functions. So in the act of love and making, or you can make this energy through apana going down and out through ejaculation, orgasmic, blissful explosion. Or you can learn how to move this energy through Uddiyana Bandha. We're going to talk about bandhas later, but moving this energy. So instead of using apana to bring this energy down and out, you can bring prana to bring this energy up and above.
During lovemaking.
Yes.
You had to teach me that offline.
So it rises through the chakra system, and if for people who has a lot of practice, you can also lift this energy all the way to the top of your head, activating the dormant areas of your brain, activating what in yoga we call siddhis. Siddhis are the paranormal powers that we can obtain in the yoga practice. So when we understand that everything is energy, is frequency and vibration, and we understand the natural flow of this energy within the body, we can learn how to expand, retain, or take, spread. We can learn how to manipulate and to give it and to send it away. Okay, so that's about prana. So prana is the vital life force. We're born, we're given with, we're stored, we learn how to expand and to move it around. So think about energy. When we think about energy in the building of a house, this electricity has to be contained. We use cables where the electricity goes through, where the energy goes through. There's electricity that has a positive charge or a negative charge. And then if you look at the wall, here we have 3 little holes on the wall. One is the positive, one is the negative, and the third one is? The ground.
The ground.
The earth, the ground. The ground is neutral. So, so above, so below. That principle, the alchemical principle that the macrocosmos mirroring the microcosmos is the same thing in this house, this body house. So we have 3 most important channels where this energy goes through. We actually have 72,000 channels of energy. 72,000 channels of energy where this energy goes through all around us. In an average, normal, healthy person, we say that this energy can be so expansive and vibrant. And if we outstretch your arms this way and turn around yourself 360 degrees, this is how big your energetic body is.
Is that the same thing as the toroidal field?
Toroidal field, yes, it has similar, I can explain that in a little bit later. But it has the similar graphic, if we can imagine in your head. But just to continue this thought, imagine that your physical body is just this big, right? You can see here. But your energetic body is this big when it's healthy, right? So it's huge. So all here around us, you have those channels of energy.
So that belongs to me. basically.
Yes.
So if somebody infiltrates.
We're going to talk about
Okay.
that. So this is called nadi. Nadi would be the cable where the electricity goes through. Nadi is the channel where this energy goes through. So we have 72,000 channels of energy, but from within those 72,000 channels of energy, 3 are the most important and crucial for the study of yoga tradition and how to manipulate this energy. So one is called Ida Nadi, the one is called Pingala Nadi, and the other one is called Sushumna Nadi. So Ida and Pingala, one is positive and one is negative. So Pingala is positive, Ida is negative polarity.
Ida is negative?
Yes, and Sushumna Nadi is the ground, is the neutral Nadi that has negative polarity in the bottom and positive polarity on the top. So let's imagine the yogic sitting in a yoga position. This is the position. It's called Siddhasana. Siddha coming from the word siddhi, supernatural powers. So when we sit in Siddhasana, we're generating this energy to expand and explore the siddhis, the paranormal powers, or ESP, extrasensorial perception. So when we're sitting here in this yogic position and we have these 3 nadis born on the same place in the base of the spine, and the root of the spine is where Kundalini, the coil energy, is set. So from this coil in this base of the spine, those 3 channels arise. One goes around from the, now I'm being the mirror, so I have to say the opposite what I do. So let's say one comes from the right side. I'm just going to say as it is, not doing the mirror. So let's say from the left side of the body, it crosses 3.5 times, and one is responsible for one side of the nostril. And the other one is born on the other side, crossed 3.5 times, and is responsible for the functioning of the other side of the nostril.
Okay.
And then Sushumna Nadi, same place in the base of the spine, and goes straight through the spine in the center of the spine. Anatomically, if you could cut the spine in the middle, actually you can see in anatomy that there is a tiny little hole in it. That is, they say, is the size of one hair. That's thin, it is, one hair. And that would be Sushumna Nadi. That would be the central energy. We don't see it because we're talking about energy, but there's that little hole, perhaps is from where this tube or this cable or this channel are the base for Sushumna, the energy to flow through. So it has negative polarity in the bottom, positive on the top. So in symbology, we see what the caduceus, for instance, is the staff with the 2 snakes that intersect. And then the staff is Sushumna Nadi, the 2 snakes are Ida and Pingala Nadi. So this is the alchemical symbology of this science and philosophical system. When the 2 snakes, they intersect, they create a vortex of energy. This vortex of energy vibrates, oscillates, and emanates an energy. And this is called a circle. It creates a vortex or a circle. This is called a chakra. So chakra means circle. It's a vortex of energy from the gathering or the meeting of 2 nadis, 2 channels of energy. So imagine a river. Energy is generated through the flow of the water. So like there's a river, and imagine there's another river that comes this way. When those 2 rivers meet, it creates a spiral of energy, whirlpool. So that's the chakra. So you can visualize, you understand what it is. So when those cables of electricity or energy, we're electromagnetic creatures, when they intersect, creating a vortex, this is what we call a chakra. So chakra is a circle, a vortex of energy that is a meeting of specific channels of energy. So when this energy then rises from the base of the spine up to the top of the head, activating the dormant areas of the brain, we are then, it's said, enlightened. The light bulb The mind, the brain gets enlightened, and we can then activate this extrasensorial powers. So enlightenment gives you wings, and that's the wing of the Caduceus, the wing that represents here by Mercury. Mercury is the god of communication. It's also the god of the merchants. He has the gift of the word, of speaking. So when we developed also those powers, one of the ways that we can perceive a person have been enlightened is through the tone of their voice, how they communicate, how they speak, also how they sit, how they walk, how they hold themselves. But that is enlightenment. So that is the science of Hatha Yoga. Yoga meaning union, and Hatha means sun and moon, positive or negative, female and male. So it's this polarities. So the whole science of Hatha Yoga is to understand how energy works in this physical body as well, or how it reflects in this physical body. So we can revert the natural flow of the energy, activating the dormant areas of the brain for more intelligence, more enlightenment, bring light, clarity into the mind and intellect. So we can then be the sovereign of our lives and create those wings to fly, basically. So we have like many chakras in our body, but 7 or 8 are the most crucial for the understanding of this traditional yoga system. If we have 72,000 channels of energy, there is many connective points within these channels of energy, which means that we have many chakras. But 7 or 8 are the main chakras that we work in the system, the traditional system of the chakra system. We can see the chakras as a ladder of evolution to understand consciousness. So we use it as a map to map consciousness. So it's little by little gets more complex. Not complicated, but complex. But going back to what you said, I'm sure you heard before people saying, we become the closest people to us. We start absolving their state of mind, their behaviors, how they feel, how they act. If I have my energy body that is this big and someone is sitting right next to me, what our both energetic bodies do, they blend and merge. So that's a true that we become the closest people to us. And again, we don't have to be any extraordinary person to have the capacity to feel energy. We all have that. So let's say that you're entering a crowded bus and you feel like, oof, the energy is heavy. Or going to a party full of people and you might feel like, wow, the energy here is heavy, or whatever words you might describe. Or you enter a place and you feel like, wow, the energy here feels so light. People are so light. The other day you mentioned something, oh, it feels so nurturing. These people feel so nurturing. We all have that capacity to read energy, to feel energy. And that is important to understand, because when we understand that when we are in company with someone and we start to feel depleted, there's not like a good interchange, flow of this energy around us, this chemistry, right? Little things can change our energy. We have to remember that energy is everything. A thought creates energy, or it needs energy to be created. So if we think a lot, if we listen to 1 hour class, 2 hours lecture, we start to feel depleted because you need energy to be alert, to listen, conscious listening. So everything is energy. So we have sometimes people that uplift our energy, and we have people that deplete our energy. We have conversations that uplift our energy, feel excited, and others that we feel tired and depleted. torus of energy that you were saying. You imagine, you remember that image,
Yes.
right? So there's a hole, and the energy goes from the bottom up and around, and back to the bottom and up and around.
Yeah.
So this energy moves that way. So we say that if we have the Da Vinci, I think it is the perfect man, the standing man, the star of the David man. So if this man is standing, and you'll see that, because I'm sitting, you cannot really see it. or imagine, I'll see, you won't be able to see it anyways, but we say that Muladhara chakra, the first chakra, is located this way. The vortex goes this way. And the Sahasrara chakra on the top of the head is placed this way. So the torus of energy. It goes this way and goes up and then out and around. But not just here, but also here.
Okay.
Right? So that's how it moves. And why this is important or interesting to understand is because certain things that we do in our life block that natural flow of energy. But let's go back to the map of consciousness. So each chakra has a representation, and it has its very palpable, tangible correlation. The first chakra is correlated with the element of earth, the Muladhara chakra, the one that is positioned this way, the base of the spine. We say that the kshetram point, or the pressure point of this chakra, is located between the genitals. For women, it will be the cervix. For men, the perineum. That is the kshetram point, or the location, pressure point for first chakra. That's the earth element. It's our connection with the ground. So when we sit in this way, we're grounding. We're connecting with earth. Why the yogis sit in this position? There's a why. And also some schools of thought teaches a little bit different. I even heard, but I did a lot of research to find any background to this idea, and I couldn't find, so I don't know. But some school, they say that for women, we have the right side, the right side is masculine or positive, and the left side is the moon or the negative.
That's in this school of thought, or?
Some schools of thought. Most, 99% of the schools of thought I study and heard, men and women are the same. Both of us have the right side negative or masculine, and the left side positive or negative or feminine. Because we both have right and left brain, sympathetic and parasympathetic system. So let's just focus on that instead of complicate it a little bit more. But so if the right side of the body is the masculine side, is ruled by the left side of the brain, we will have the right heel placing the perineum. Why? Because if the right side of the body is positive, and the bottom of the spine is actually negative. So it goes like negative polarity with negative polarity. So negative polarity with negative polarity, the energy, instead of come together, it repels.
It repels, yeah.
Because we want to have the energy coming up instead of going down. So that is where it gets a little complicated. Some schools say, no, it's different for men, it's different for women. I never found any other teachings that confirm that. So we always say, like, feel which foot will be more comfortable for you to see. I have to double check that, because what I understand is that the right side of the body is negative.
Yeah.
And negative polarity, or it's a sun energy, the masculine energy. And what I believe is that the masculine energy is positive polarity. So in that way, it wouldn't make sense if Sushumna is negative in the bottom. Okay, so you would have to have then the left heel on top if you want to repel that energy.
Okay.
But just think that there is a wise why we do certain things in yoga. There's always a why. It's not random.
It's purposeful.
It's purposeful.
Yeah.
It's energetically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, going back to the chakra as a map of consciousness.
Yeah.
So the first chakra, Muladhara chakra, and then is connected with the earth element and the gonad gland.
I've heard of that.
Every chakra is, think about the chakra as the energy that makes the gland function. Because again, every living thing to be able to be alive and function needs to have energy. The second chakra is connected with the water element and adrenal glands.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Manipura chakra,
Mm-hmm.
the solar plexus chakra. It's connected to the gland of connected to the digestive system. I forgot the name.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have heart chakra. It's connected with air element and thymus gland.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Vishuddhi chakra, or the throat chakra, is thyroid and parathyroid gland. And then we have Agya chakra, that is related to pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
Some school says pituitary gland.
Mm.
And then the Sahasrara chakra will be then the pituitary gland. And then we have another chakra that in the traditional Hatha Yoga tradition we study, it's called Bindu chakra. It's in the back of the head, the back top of the head. Is where the Hebrew people wear the little, I don't know how it's called, the little hat they call it to protect you. Or the Hare Krishnas, they have a tuft of hair that hangs from here. That's the protection of Bindu chakra. Bindu chakra, there's also a correlation with the gland that secretes substance that is that drips from the back of your throat, and they call the nectar of life. And when you activate the Bindu chakra, you can also activate some celestial sounds that you can hear. But as we know now in this period of a woman in perimenopause, you know how important, we can actually now really feel how important those hormones are and those glands are for us, the optimal functioning of this body. Because when one of these glands are off, when one of these hormones are off, our whole state of mind is also off. We think that we're going crazy. Some people think they're going crazy in their mind, while actually they're only having an energetic or a physical chemical imbalance. We can reverse engineer in this body and take part by part to understand how each part functions. But it's very important to then assemble everything together and realize that we're all one. Right? We can talk about the physical body, we can talk about the emotional body, we can talk about the energy body, we can talk about all these bodies, but ultimately we're just one system. So that's why this integrative way of healing is important. I also understand why we have specializations, because we are so complex that it's difficult for one person to understand it all. So when you go to a doctor, right, you go to a general doctor, but if you have a problem in your liver or in your heart or your brain, you're gonna then find a specialist for that. There's its pros and cons with that.
Because there's no communication between them.
Exactly. There's no communication between them. So you can then take just the heart and say, open up and say, hey, there's a problem with this valve on your heart. But if your cardiologist talks to your psychologist and it says, hey, but wait a moment, he's passing through a heartbreak and this and this and that, it makes sense that will affect perhaps the hormonal that creates this balance and the physical balance. So that's where sometimes we fall short in health. Because we're really taking this part by part, but without seeing the bigger picture of how everything then works together. Anyways, we do have to take all the parts out and understand each part so we can understand the whole. So that's yoga. Yoga is union. But what is union? Union with what? If there's union, it has to have separation. So the word yoga means union. Union with what? We're uniting the individual self with the universal self. So this is even a bigger philosophical discussion here. Because first we have to understand what is Atman, what is the self. So the self is all what we have been talking about. The self is not just the Descartes way of thinking, therefore I am. Okay, I have a body, I understand, I know that I know, but I also have feelings, but I also have sensations, but I also have energy, and I also have an energy that is connected with the bigger energy that is you, and an even bigger energy that is the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom and the cosmos and the stars and the planets. You see how complex it is.
But some people just think it's just vessel to vessel, and there's no other shared energy with plants or animals.
That was a very old Cartesian way of thinking and living of this individual saying that I am complete in my own little island. So I am myself, and if I live my life for me and I throw the garbage in the ocean, it will not affect me because I am me. If I'm treating the elder lady trying to cross the street in a bad way, it has nothing to do with me, it's with her. But now we're understanding this connectedness, this union. We have been starting to talk more and more about that in the past 20 years. So there have been a shift in this consciousness, of this collective consciousness. Now I know that if I throw my garbage in the ocean, will affect me eventually. Now I know if I treat that lady on the side of the street bad, it will affect me. If I have so-called a bad relationship with my family members, it will eventually affect me, because we're all connected and we're all one. We talked a little bit about that yesterday when we talked about karma and working in the field of energy. In the field of energy, we're all connected. There's this beautiful book from Greg Braden that is called The Matrix, the Divine Matrix. Now the scientists are already talking about this unified field. What is that unifies all? You can call love. Love is the glue that unites us all. But you can also call it plasma.
I've been hearing this word a lot. Dr. Joe.
So in a yogic tradition, this plasma is called ether. Ether or akasha. Akasha is ethers. So akasha is the fifth element. So we have the earth, the water, the fire, the air, sound, light, and ether, which is what unites us all. So going back to the maps of consciousness, and we can correlate then each chakra with a gland in the body, with a state of awareness, with a state of consciousness. So the first state of consciousness can also be related to different ages in our life. So when we're born, we're much more connected to the first chakra, the earth chakra. This is our primal instinct, and it's connected with the sensorial feeling of smell, the first chakra. It's like our animalistic brain. When a baby is born and is hungry, it cries. And it smells and it crawls to the boobs. I didn't know that, when the baby is born out, it can crawl to the breast. It's the instinct.
After I
So that's the instinct of the baby. That's the animalistic instinct we all have. Some people stay in that animalistic level.
Really?
One day I asked, I want to share this video on my YouTube. So one day I asked a partner I had once, what is God for you? And he said, God is football, food, and your butt. Okay. So it's almost like some men, when I say men, humans, men and women, living in a very animalistic instinct of the basic instinct fulfilled. I have food, I have sex.
That's in the.
It's like
the hierarchy of needs.
The hierarchy of needs. We're in the lowest hierarchy of needs, right? We're not thinking. We're just operating by instinct.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel horny, I need sex. Oh, I feel hungry, I want food. Animal.
Yeah.
Okay. The second chakra is then the water element. When we transcend, and when I say transcend, there's not better or bad or good, worse or better, more evolved or less evolved. Like I said, we are whole. We need everything. Like a lotus flower, talk about yesterday in our opening. It needs to ground in the mother, root and ground, so it can rise up. We can only achieve this higher consciousness if we have first dove deep. You know, the first chakra is also our bodies. Is our bodies, is matter, is our home, our physical home. So the first chakra is the earth, and also the animalistic, the most fulfilled. I'll tell you a little story. One time in India, in an ashram, a guru was sitting, and the disciples were sitting around. And one disciple asked the master, the guru, "Hey, guru, teacher, why do you think these days there's more like enlightened people being born in the West?" And the guru just said, faster, faster. What that he wanted to say with that is that when we have a roof, a house, food, water, clear air to breathe, we have our first basic instincts fulfilled, then we can think about helping others, philanthropy, consciousness, union, unity. If I am in my survival mode, trying to realize how can I feed my kids back home, how can I think about spirituality? So spirituality, in a way, yes, it can be a luxury. So the second chakra is related to our emotional self. The body parts of first chakra would be legs and feet, blood circulation. The second chakra would be the hips, the lower back, the organs of water, the liver, the womb. So this is the most flexible part of ourselves, the hips. It needs to move. It's the water in the river. When the water gets stuck, it creates bacteria, starts to stink, and brings disease. So the hips are connected to the second chakra. The second chakra talks about our emotional self. Very important as well. So first is our instinct, animalistic instincts. And then we start to feel. I feel, therefore I am, I like to say. And this is also about our senses. The sensorial feeling of second chakra is the taste. So when we are love making, we kiss. When this mouth is wet, the other mouth is wet. There's a correlation here. The throat and the channel. So the second chakra talks about emotions is still more in an animalistic way, I would say. Not in an animalistic way, it's not the right word, sorry. I'm Portuguese in my brain, but I have to translate to English in my mind.
Primal.
But in a way primal, but talks about emotions that are conditional. Is my relationship with my family, is my relationship with my husband, my wife, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my friends, my close people of me. And also talks about finding the balance between opposites, because we can say it all that women are super powerful or men are super powerful, but we're really made in a jigsaw and I say rompecabezas in a you know this game that you put all the pieces.
Oh, like a puzzle.
A puzzle, yeah. We're made puzzle to fit, right?
Yeah.
We're made to fit. When we hug, I feel like, right? It's like this.
And the insertion of the parts Yeah.
It's the insertion of the past. We are made to. So the second chakra talks about the sensuality and sexuality, the senses, and also a balance between the opposites. How can we find balance between the opposites? Female, male, day, night, sun, moon, good, bad, right, left, brain, sympathetic, parasympathetic system. And most important keyword for the second chakra here, work and play. Because second chakra, another key word is joy, playfulness. So if the first chakra is the infant from 0 to a year, I don't know exactly, then the second chakra will be like 2 to 5 years old development. Play, discover through playfulness, through laughter, to try it in the mouth, right? The oral, everything like, that the sensorial feeling of taste. Here we are in the second chakra. The third chakra will be teenager. The third chakra is the fire element. It's our sense of self. First, the baby doesn't know. The baby is the baby and the mom is the mom. The baby and the mom is one unity. And then the baby starts to feel the separation. The toddler is like, no, me, mine. And then comes the teenager, is all about me. That's the center of the ego as well. And control.
But this is the ego now.
The third chakra. Fire. The fire of transform and move forward and have a goal and go for it. And is also willpower and self-esteem. So we see a lot of teenagers, the struggle with power and self-esteem, all of that. So in the psychology of the chakra system, in this map of consciousness through the chakra system, here we are operating in that phase of understanding who we are and our power and how we can create through that power. The fourth chakra then talks about emotions again in a more instead of the word I use mundane of the second chakra, this will be universal. So it's that feeling that I have, that is the love that I have that is unconditional.
And that's here?
The chest, right? Thymus gland, the chest, the lungs, the heart organ. Those are the body parts associated with the heart chakra, Anahata. In Sanskrit, Anahata means the unstruck sound, which is very interesting. Because when we create a sound, we need usually two things to collide to create a sound. The heartbeat has a sound. It doesn't collide with anything. It collides with itself. It's a muscle that has its own struck. So it's the unstruck sound. It doesn't need two things to collide in order to create that sound. And it's connected with the air element. So it's all pervasive. While the second chakra is this emotion that we feel that is conditional. I love my child. It's easy to love your child. It's easy to love your mother, your father, your husband, your girlfriend. But the heart chakra talks about the feelings, the compassion, the empathy that I feel towards a stranger. Someone I never seen before and is sleeping in the street and is thirsty or hungry or is cold. And I feel this need of wanting to help. Some people say that we're born with that innate in us, but we can see in society that's not true.
Because people are stuck in this primal
Survival primal.
So
when this energy is then moving up, we're starting now to develop this ability to see that it's not just about me, but it's we. Right? So that is the heart. And then when we have transcended all of that, I also want to talk a little bit that I skip the etymology or the translation for each of these chakras. So Muladhara, Mula means root. So it's the root chakra. Swadhisthana, the second chakra, Swa means self. And Swadhisthana means self-refuge. It's like this place that you go inside and nobody sees. It's only yours. And that's important to know because Swadhisthana means self-refuge. It's sacred. It's not something to share with everyone. because we see a lot of what we call sexual leaking, I call it, around, especially internet, Instagram, whatever. You see all these gorgeous women, also men, but like bathing, so doing yoga, and you see all that is a leaking of a sexual energy.
Because there's no happiness within their own containment. It's like it's seeking.
It's seeking
else.
out instead of joining in. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. We all pass through all phases of life. Some people need that be seen, or whatever they're going through, that they have to go through that phase, right? I'm not here to judge anything, but I'm also here to talk about the meaning of it. Swadhisthana is the self, is sacred, is that emotional self that you're not sharing in every person, and your sexuality is sacred because of that. Because when we create a being through love making, we can only create a being with one person. As humans, dogs are different. Dogs can mate with different dogs and have puppies with different fathers. But as humans, we can only breed with one man. That's what I know. I also heard that some part of DNA gets in the brain of women of several partners before. I don't know exactly that. But I think we all agree that a woman can just be fertilized by one man and then create that baby at the time.
Yeah.
So that is the Swadhisthana, is this sacred sexuality. Why we say sacred sexuality, right? It's sacred because it's this thing that I don't want to use the word shouldn't, because we can whatever we want and need for our own soul evolution. But there's some form of purity on understanding and cultivating this energy. In yoga tradition, we call it brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is not spending that sexual energy with a lot of people all at once, or not spending or not spending that sexual energy. Period. Right? You have to be very aware of how you do it, how you share that energy. Because there's always consequences. So that is the second chakra, Swadhisthana. The third chakra, Manipura. Manipura, the translation for the word Manipura is shining like 1,000 gems. Is the sun. So this is the Hara, the scent of the sun, the fire element. This is how we shine. If a person have a strong, healthy ego self, like the Leo sign that comes to mind, it's like this, people see you. You're emanating that light. It's the yellow color. That is Manipura, shining like 1,000 gems. And then Anahata, we talked about the unstruck sound. Now let's go into the Vishuddhi chakra, the throat chakra. Vishuddhi, I'm not really sure of if it's the literal translation, but one of the keywords is purification. We purify in the center. So the throat, some school says is sound element, some school says is ether element. I like to believe that this is the sound element because it's connected also with the voice and how we listen, the body parts associated with the throat, that the throat, the neck, the tongue, the ears. So how we hear and then express and communicate and use creativity as a form of expression. How we speak our truth, how we communicate our feelings is through the throat chakra. So this is what the throat chakra is about. And then Agya chakra. Agya, what Agya means? Agya. It's very hard to pronounce. Some people say Ajna, Agya.
How do you spell it?
A-G-N-A with a little sign on top of the N. Agya. But in Indian, I'm not an Indian, I'm Brazilian, so it's just my accent. But in the Indian people, they say Agya chakra. Agya chakra. Agya chakra. So Agya, I'm not sure about the literal translation of Agya, but then some people believe that this is the light element. And it happened to me also in deep states of meditation. When you activate the center, you see bright light, you see light, But the center is associated with the pineal gland, which is kind of a mystery for science.
The pineal gland?
Pineal gland. So the doctors and scientists, they say the pineal gland, we use it until puberty, and after it atrophiates.
But you can keep it open through practice?
If the yogis believe, yes. But so there is a few things about pineal gland. I'm not an expert in any way, but there was a time in my life where I was very, very curious about breatharianism. Have you heard about breatharians? Those people who live in light, live off light. They don't eat, they don't drink. And I know in person people who have done this process for months without eating, without drinking. They stayed with me in my house. I have friends in Brazil who was teaching that.
So fasting but extreme.
Extreme fasting.
Can you put the air con?
Yes.
Now it's. Thank you. I'm gonna go on my stomach.
So I was so fascinated about this capability of surviving without food or water that I did a lot of research.
Yeah.
And there's some people who have been studied by NASA and things like that. So there was a papers that said that the pineal gland usually is the size of a pea, and for breatharians they grow to the size of a nutmeg.
Wow.
So in yoga we believe that pineal gland is a receptacle of light. And what these people say that they live on light, which is interesting correlation here. So apparently in breatharians, the digestive system atrophiates, but the pineal gland rise in size.
During
grow
what?
in
Digestive?
Size. The breatharians, if you don't eat or drink,
Okay.
the digestive system atrophiates, but the pineal gland grows in size.
But physiologically, how can they sustain their organs and?
Well, that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
But so pineal gland, then I'm not a doctor, I don't know much.
Yeah.
I just know the yoga science of it. So in yoga, the pineal gland and this chakra is related to our intellect, understanding, but it's also most important keyword here is the sixth sense. Right? So it's the ESP, the extrasensorial perceptions. To see beyond the eyes, to hear beyond the ears, to understand beyond the intellect. Is that typical, I know because I know? How do I know? I don't know, I just know. So that is the inner vision and the clairs, clairvoyance, clear vision, clear understanding, or clear cognizance, and you know the clairs. So this is the pineal gland, or the sixth chakra, Agya chakra. Then we have Sahasrara chakra. Sahasrara chakra then would be associated with the ether element, or this plasma-like, that is the center that connects us with all and everything, where duality dissolves into oneness. And we have that connection with God's source, universe.
This is the highest state one can get.
I don't know if it's the highest state, but in this chakra system, this is the highest, would say, frequency. If the first chakra, which is correlated with red color, red is a very slow frequency. And then we have orange, a little faster, and then we have yellow, faster, and then we have green and blue and purple, and then the frequency is like higher frequency. Again, when I say higher, not more important or less important, different. Low frequency, high frequency. So we meet people that are such a high frequency and a very electrical energy that is unstable, irritating, and then we know people that is so much in the low frequency that it's like lazy and apathic and can move and gaining weight. But then we find people that the electromagnetic is balanced, and when we hug or feel close to, feel grounded, feel good. So if you're just up here floating in the air and you have no idea where you're going, I don't know. What do you like? I don't know. What do you want of life? I don't know. It's here, we call them the unicorns, La La Land. Or someone that is too much on the ground. It's like, I don't believe in anything. I have to work. Well, I don't have time for play. I need to work. You know, I have to know I need a bigger house, a bigger car, a better car. Too much on the first chakra. So now we're going to talk about how those psychoemotional states affect our being. So a chakra, as a vortex of energy, can vibrate in a very low frequency, even for the low frequency that it is, let's say, to first chakra, or it can vibrate to high frequency, or it can oscillate, sometimes to high, sometimes to low. That we call a blockage. See how the person has a blocked chakra.
So oscillation is not good?
No.
Okay.
We all oscillate. It's not that good. We all oscillate, but we are always striving for balance. The whole science of Hatha Yoga, the union of these polarities, is to strive for balance, equipoise, balance, harmony, equilibrium. How do each person find the equilibrium can be quite personal, depending on the moment of their life. To give a basic example, some people can have a cup of coffee in the morning and feel totally fine. When I had my burnout and my nervous system was a wreck, if I had 1 cup of decaf coffee, I would be totally out of balance. So how do we find our own equilibrium is a very fine line. Because also some people say, I can drink coffee every single day and nothing happened. When nothing happened, they don't really know, because they're so accustomed, so used to be in that state, that they don't know how it is to be in another state.
So the best way is by trial and error, and to be your own judge.
We have a common sense,
Yeah.
right? It's better to have 1 cup of coffee than 10.
Yeah.
But also we have to then fine tune and see, how am I living now in my life? Can I handle a cup of coffee, or should I avoid and have like a herbal tea instead? Just to give a very simple example, but it's, in the end, it's all about practical things that we can do in our life day to day. So a person, I think, was very clear when I gave the example, a person who has a low frequency on the throat chakra, for instance. Low frequency. Instead of communicate, she's shy, she has a blockage in her throat, she can't talk her emotions, what he thinks, or her truth, she lies. On the other spectrum, too much energy in this chakra, person talk, don't say anything.
And not listen.
And not listen.
You're missing out on the listening.
A blockage. One day I'm super talkative, super creative, because this is also the chakra of expression, creation. I sing, I love my voice. And the next day I can't write, I can write a poetry, I can sing, I can speak my truth. I'm too shy, blockage. You understand now? So that's the philosophy or psychology behind the chakra system. And then we can start understanding how the energy can affect the matter, that can affect the emotions, can affect our behaviors. You understand? What comes first, the egg or the chicken? I don't know. Some people believe that all illness or disease starts on the energetic body, and it gets to the physical body so ingrained. It's almost like, we persist on doing the wrong things, and the universe or higher source says, hey, don't go that way, don't do that, and we keep doing, we don't listen. Don't do that way. And then we have an accident. Don't do that. And then we have another high accident, we can move, and like, oh yeah, shit.
And then how much of it is also, like you said before, ancestral, generational, passed on.
That too.
So there's that element as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's that element as well, karmic element, and collective. So
as a society.
Yes. So the chakras can also affect our collective and our chakras. Let's give an example. United States. If you would say that United States had a very active chakra, which chakra would that be?
The lower.
We could say the lower, but we could say, some people say that United States is the Agya chakra of the world.
It's perceived heightened say.
But it's very intellectual. It's very high technological. It's very intellectual. It's the ego country, the country of the ego. It sees things from a bigger perspective. Yeah. On the other spectrum could be, the primal, the first chakra.
I feel like it's split the country between that and that.
Could also be. But we say also in female male, a chakra that is predominantly unbalanced in men is the third chakra. Because it's the work, do. My ego, my doing. This is like a very masculine center. Which chakra would be most wounded in a woman? The second chakra. Having sex when she doesn't want. Not being able to listen to her cycles, the needs. All this we call miasma, or the energies that being stuck from past relationships, lost child, abortions. Very strong chakra for women is the second. You see you can start understanding.
What is here though? Lack of.
Then it's personal also. Then we have, so that's the work we're doing here today. So we are now understanding everything. So I'll stop the camera in a moment. So this was going to be the end, perhaps almost the end of our etherical body theory class, where we start understanding these things. And now personally, we're going to do a psychological test, going through each of the chakras to answer questions. So you can start perceiving which one of the chakras will feel off for yourself personally. And after that, we're going to do then what I call it shamanic meditation, that once I go through each of the chakra system, cleansing, clearing, energizing. So that's the work of this
And that's something I can do when I'm feeling stuck?
Yes.
This meditation, the shamanic.
So just to give a little overall again, we have energy, prana. Prana is coming to the body through three main ways: breath, food, drink. When the prana coming to the body, subdivides into 5 forms of prana. When this prana moves, it moves through channels of energy we call nadis, that we have 72,003 most important. These 2 nadis are related to right and left side of the body, right and left brain, Ida Pingala nadi, sympathetic parasympathetic system. Sushumna nadi, the neutral nadi, would be the awakening and the balance and harmony of both brains together. So one other thing, when I say that those nadis, they cross 3.5 times, they intersect, creating a chakra system. And one of them is responsible for the function of one nostril, the other one for the other side of the nostril. We can notice that in average human being, from 60 to 90 minutes, the brain or sympathetic and parasympathetic function, they alternate. We can notice that there's always one side of the nostril where the breath flows a little more free. If you breathe a little, you feel there's always one a little more open. So if the air is flowing more free through the right nostril, it means that the left side of the brain is more active, which means that you're more like into resting, playing music, is the parasympathetic system. No, sorry, the opposite.
The creative. Left brain.
If the right side is flowing more, is the left side of the brain that is more active, which means that you're more like into running, doing fitness, exercise, or eating. Is the masculine or sun energy. The opposite, if the left side of the nostril is more flowing, means that the right side of the okay, pause. Cut. So the right brain is the left nostril, which is more like than the intuitive, playing music, writing, reading, resting, parasympathetic system.
Okay.
So we can also study reading the body pranic rhythms and the body pranic rhythms in harmony with cosmos.
And what happens if one is, goes through the channel 3.5 times? What if one is off kilter and there's some imbalance?
People have difficulty breathing. They have like what's called like a septum.
Deviated
septum. These people suffer a lot from anxiety.
Yeah.
creates anxiety.
Mm.
So it's important to correct that.
Mm-hmm.
Correct that. But things, like I said, from 60 to 90 minutes we operate from sympathetic to parasympathetic, right and left nostril.
Mm.
And then, most important, there's about 5 to 6 minutes gap where those nostrils are alternating their function, that both brain fires.
Mm.
When we do Nadishodhana Pranayama, or the alternative breathing,
Mm-hmm.
is to balance those nadis, to balance both sides of the brain.
Oh, you can do that?
Yes.
The alternative
This
breathing?
is the whole point of Hatha Yoga, is unite and find balance and harmony between the two opposite polarities and find this neutral polarity.
Mm.
So if we are in the sympathetic, or if you are in the parasympathetic, you are under rest or in the fight mode.
Mm.
And when you are on the Sushumna Nadi, you are in the balanced, harmonious, connected with the divine God, goddess mode, meditative mode.
Mm.
Where I believe, that's my belief,
Mm.
that we're perfect as we are. And we cannot live only on the sympathetic or only on the parasympathetic and be on Ganapatayi all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But we understand how we function, we can then see how we're operating and change for our own benefit at will when we need,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. There's no set prescription. It's you take and you leave as you need for your own good.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask a question. Is there any studies on the tongue? I know in Chinese medicine they really rely heavily on the color and the look and the texture.
That's medicine. That would be perhaps more towards Ayurveda, I would say,
Ayurveda,
close
okay.
to that. But in yoga tradition, we don't.
It's nothing. There's
Here we're talking about the states of consciousness through the we're using the chakra system as a map of consciousness and understanding energy and how this energy moves through the body.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put a pause here.
Sure. Yeah.
That's probably